Today we're diving into something really critical, the state of higher education in Meghalaya. According to our source material, it's at a tipping point. Is the system collapsing, or is there a chance for a real comeback, a renaissance? Let's break it down.
Wow. Preparing students for jobs that no longer exist. That really hits hard, doesn't it? It perfectly sums up the heart of the problem we're going to explore. This huge, gaping disconnect between what's being taught and what the world actually needs. So, what on earth does this mean for the young people of Meghalaya?
For so many students, getting a higher education is supposed to be the dream, right? It's their ticket to a better life. But imagine putting in all that work, all that hope, only to find out the system itself is, well, becoming irrelevant. It's failing the very people it's supposed to empower.
And this isn't just a feeling. You can see the signs everywhere. We're talking about faculty positions that have been sitting empty for years, a total lack of research facilities, buildings that are literally falling apart, and of course, teaching a curriculum that feels like it's stuck in the past. These aren't just cracks in the foundation, the whole thing seems to be crumbling.
Okay, so we see the symptoms, but how deep does this crisis really go? To figure that out, we've got to play detective a bit and investigate the health of these institutions. And the best place to start is with the most important part of any school, its teachers.
It's such a simple question, but the answer tells you so much. Where are the teachers? Because without qualified, dedicated people in front of a classroom, what are students even getting? This shortage is a massive red flag for just how much the system has been neglected.
And this chart, wow, it just lays it all out there. Look at that gap. You've got the number of teaching jobs that are supposed to exist, and then you have the reality of how many are actually filled. That huge chunk of vacant positions isn't just a number. It means classes get canceled, the staff who are there are totally overworked, and ultimately, the quality of education for every single student takes a nosedive.
You know, a great university does more than just teach from old textbooks. It's supposed to be a place of discovery, of innovation, of creating new knowledge through research. So that leads us to our next big question. Is any of that actually happening?
Get ready for this number. It's 5. Just 5. That's how many research publications have come out of some of these public institutions in the last 5 years. That's not just low, it's a sign that the entire research ecosystem is pretty much non-existent. There's no funding, no facilities, and probably not a lot of motivation.
Which of course brings us to the bottom line. This is the question that every student and every parent wants an answer to. After all the years of study, all the money spent, does this degree actually get you a job? What happens after graduation?
And the answer, unfortunately, is a tough one. When you put the employment rates for graduates from Meghalaya's institutions side by side with the national average, well, the picture becomes painfully clear. It's not even close. And this isn't just bad luck. It's hard evidence that the skills being taught just don't match up with what the job market is looking for.
So, we've seen the symptoms, the empty classrooms, the lack of research, the poor job prospects. But why is this happening? Let's get to the root cause, because this isn't just about a few bad decisions. We're talking about the massive, long-term price of simply looking the other way.
And the source material really boils it down to this one powerful phrase, systemic neglect. Now, what does that mean? It means this wasn't an accident. It's a long-term pattern of not investing enough money, not showing enough commitment, and essentially condemning the state's future to stay stuck in the past.
And that neglect is like a chain reaction, right? Government investment dries up. The big, well-funded national universities get built somewhere else. So what happens? The smartest, most ambitious students have no choice but to leave the state to get a good education. It creates this vicious cycle that's incredibly hard to break.
And all of this leads to one of the most damaging outcomes for any region: brain drain. The state is literally losing its future. Its best and brightest minds, the people who should be building businesses, leading communities, and innovating, they're leaving. And more often than not, they don't come back.
So you have to ask, why? Why the lack of investment? A quote from the source gives us a pretty blunt answer. It suggests that, on a national level, Meghalaya is just seen as a low-priority region. And it seems the state government hasn't been able to, or hasn't tried to, change that perception.
Okay, so things look pretty bleak, I get it. But here's where the story takes a turn. It's not all doom and gloom. Because the source material doesn't just diagnose the problem, it actually lays out a clear, actionable plan to fix it. A plan for a true renaissance in higher education.
And it's not some vague wish list, it's a concrete 4-step plan. First,
Set hard deadlines for hiring teachers and fixing infrastructure. No more kicking the can down the road. Second, fight to bring in major campuses of central universities, not just tiny satellite offices. Third, invest in the teachers you already have with training and grants. And fourth, build strong alumni networks so you know what's working and what isn't. It's a real roadmap.
And here's something I think is really cool. The analysis doesn't just say, trust us. It says, go check for yourself. It actually encourages people to file right-to-information requests to see the vacancy numbers, to talk to recent graduates about their jobs, to compare the budgets. It's a call to action. And that really brings us to the final crucial question, the one that hangs over everything we've talked about today. The stakes are incredibly high here. Will Meghalaya's future be written at home, in its own classrooms by its own people? Or will that future be written somewhere else in another state by all the talent that was forced to leave?